other different types of dementia, and depending upon where the difficulties lie, that in the illness determines the course of treatment.
You can. All you have to do is want to do it.
Yes.
Want to be it.
Can you set your mind to it? And this is who you are, and
the grown men. We have the youth that we need to mentor, and we need to inspire, and we need to motivate. But I know, as a recent conversation between you and I, that you're also in the business of motivating grown men. Through that, I'm supposed to see God in it at every turn. So me going to the Sea of Galilee was to remind me of that, to refresh myself of that. It is all under control, that He does have it. It's just as clear as that fresh water that I saw.
You're Our Unity, hosted by LeShawn Walker, Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. PST.
Welcome, everyone, to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to reach out to those teachers that impacted your life, whether good or bad. Reach out to them. Let them know how they encouraged you and supported you, how they contributed to who you are today. Again, like I said, whether good or bad, I want you to tell them and show them who you are today and why. I am your host, LeShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. Well, it is another beautiful day in May, my friends, and happy Teachers Appreciation Week. I hope that you guys are out there just loving on those teachers that have helped you through your life, who have encouraged you, who have, I guess, given you a little idea of what life will be like, who have supported you and listened to you, who have advocated for you. There are so many teachers that are just standing in and standing up for the children in the school system, especially if they don't have parents who are there to help guide them through the way. So let's give them some love. Let's give them some support. Let's celebrate them this week. I had a teacher in my life, actually, when I was in kindergarten, who decided she was going to take me under her wing. I think I remember telling you guys a few times that I used to wear a blonde wig to school every day. I loved Chrissy Snow and Farrah Fawcett. That's kind of what I grew up on. I wasn't too fond of the afros that, Florence was wearing and all of those other shows that I was watching. But the blonde hair I loved. So I wore a wig to school every single day. I think this particular kindergarten teacher named Miss Vinton thought that was a little odd. So she decided she was going to ask my parents if I could stay with her for a couple of weekends through the summer. And I did. And she showed me so much culture. She showed me how to embrace and love my natural hair, to love my beauty and where I came from. And it took some time. I still love that wig. I'm not going to lie. And I wore it on the weekends when I wasn't with Miss Vinton. But she did show me a different side of what Black beauty was. And that's something that I didn't necessarily see when I was watching television, or I didn't relate to it at that time. So again, please go out there and just celebrate those teachers that spoke to you in some form or fashion. So we are also approaching Mother's Day. It's a beautiful time, and we're going to talk about that soon. That is the subject of the show today, is a mother's love. But before I get into that, obviously, I want to share with you a little about what I did this past weekend, and it was awesome. So this week in Unity in the community, the Hempstead Lions Club had our self-care summit. It was amazing. We had yoga, we had meditation, we had free financial literacy. We had a nutritional specialist there. We also had eye exams for the kids. There was so much to offer, and it was all about just self-love and you taking care of yourself and what healthy choices you could make in your life. So there, we had our vendors participating participate. We had Mirror Empowerment, my co-host, my beautiful sunshine, Celine, and her mom. And then we had our previous guest, Kimberly, also who participated. And then the financial literacy and the young lady who will soon be on my show, as well as her daughter, who are authors, Natalie, also attended. The yoga was amazing. I didn't get a chance to participate, and trust me, I really needed it, but I did not have a chance. But Your Unity did show up as well. We were giving away free dresses. So I was offering free dresses for the prom, for Mother's Day, for church, to all of the young ladies that came down to participate in the Self-Care Summit. It was really, really good. And for all of you guys that did not get a chance to participate, please, I hope that you take advantage of it next year because it was awesome. And then on Sunday, I had the honor of emceeing the Sweet Mother Victorian High Tea Party. It was an honor and a fundraiser for the young ladies that they support in Sierra Leone. They help these young ladies with their education. It is for the Forum of African Women in Education. I was the MC with the beautiful Cassandra. That is the president, the founder, Miss Eugenia Chinsman. And everyone came in their beautiful hats and their beautiful dresses. We had little tea sandwiches and scones and just tea of all colors and brands, and I don't know anything about tea. I'm a coffee drinker, so I don't know what else to say about that. But the tea was really good. And I'm going to tell you, more importantly, I love what this organization represents. The fact that they are helping these young ladies in Sierra Leone, who a lot of them, you know, family members passed away from the Ebola virus. And then they had older gentlemen wanting to marry them while they were teenagers, and instead of them pursuing an education. And Sweet Mother Incorporated came in and said, we are going to offer these young ladies the opportunity to get their education, to pursue their dreams. And so what they do is they fundraise, they have charity events like this amazing tea party that I participated in and emceed at. And honestly, it was just a room full of love, a room full of powerful women that just wanted to contribute to these amazing women's lives. I told them that we're kind of responsible for them. We are their mothers here on the other side of the world. So check out Sweet Mother Incorporated. Please try to contribute in any way that you can. The organization is fabulous. Now, as I said, my weekend is always exciting. I never share with you guys, you know, the little ups and downs and the challenges and adversities that I go through on a regular. So I'm going to share a little tidbit of how God showed up in my life this weekend. In addition to, he made me listen to him a little deeper. In addition to that, he also made me realize that he truly is in control of all things. So as I'm on my way to this fabulous event, my tire needed air and the dashboard, you know, illuminated, let me know this. So after the event, I went and noticed that, yes, the tire was flat. I have a fancy car supposedly, and I had run flat tires. And so the car wasn't on the rim, but it was not drivable, not all the way back to New York, because the event was in Connecticut. So I'm feverishly trying to find a mechanic, a tire store. I was like, if we were in New York, there'd be one on every corner, but there was none to be found, no one to help me, because apparently it wasn't just a nail, there was a hole in the tire. So I had to leave my car in Connecticut. Now, I failed to mention that I went to this event with a young lady who I used to work with and haven't seen in probably 5 to 10 years. This young lady I just happened to invite to this event, she came with me, and I realized that she's just as old as my mother. I used to hang out with this lady back when I was 20-something years old. I thought she was 30. She's my mother's age, but that's a whole different story. So I have this woman out trying to get away, find a way back home. I had to leave my car in Connecticut. She's freaking out. The gentleman that's helping was freaking out. But for some reason, I was calm. I just figured it'll work itself out. He's going to take us home. It was a long ride, but we'd be okay. The blessing is that we're safe. I could have been on the highway and that tire could have burst. And unfortunately, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you right now. So I go home. I'm a little peeved because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get back to Connecticut the next day. Now, I had literally just had a conversation with probably 3 people saying, I'm never getting on a train again a day in my life. I have a car. I haven't been on the trains 20, 25, 30 years. Once I started driving, that was way behind me. My parents had me on a train. They had me on a bus. I was like, I am done with the train. Well, folks, LeShawn was on a train. And it was the most amazing experience I've ever had in like the last 25 years. So I went on this ride with my daughter to Connecticut, and I enjoyed, honestly, every minute of it. But as I'm taking this train ride, I'm having conversations with my daughter. We are speaking to each other, catching up on what's going on in each other's lives, sharing what I went through, the past couple of days and how it really didn't affect me. And I feel good about the new person that I've become, that I don't let challenges and adversities affect me and bring me down like I used to. Get upset and angry and get into this why me attitude. So we got on this train, we rode it all the way to Grand Central, and then we got on the Metro North, and I'm taking photos, and I'm remembering the time when I used to be in that very same train station when I was a little girl going to high school. And here I am back there with my daughter, sharing in these precious moments. So we ended up in Connecticut, safe and sound. There is me with my coffee because I'm chilling. And I had to give you that beautiful picture because I just think it looks amazing. And I was able to get my tire fixed. Now, it's not completely fixed. I won't give you the whole story. But the fact is that when they took the tire off, it was a huge gash in the tire. This is where God showed up. I have a trip tomorrow. I am going to visit my mom and to scatter my sister's ashes this weekend for Mother's Day and for her birthday. I wasn't going to get my car checked out because I just had service recently. In addition to, those tires are a year old. So I was just going to get on the road. As I started thinking about everything that transpired and how I handled it, the peace that I had in my spirit, that regardless of the fact if I'm mad, I'm angry, and I'm out a few $100s that I wasn't looking to spend, I am safe and I am here, because I could have been on the I-95 on my way to Virginia in the middle of the night, because I'm a speed demon and I love to drive late at night where there's hopefully no cops. And I would have been in the middle of nowhere by myself, trying to get home and trying to find help. So there was a blessing in that. So I guess what my message is don't sweat the small stuff. Take advantage of the beauty in the good and the bad that can happen to you. Although I was in that moment feeling distressed and feeling lost and also feeling a little confused about why this was happening to me, there was a reason. Because again, I could have been today or tomorrow on that parkway by myself, in fear, dead, hurt, whatever. So it was a blessing. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Please go out there and just take the adversities on the chin. Take the challenges on the chin. They make you stronger. And also, in addition to that, if you really, really think about it, if you're listening to God, He's trying to show you that He's already got it under control. He just wants you to follow His path. And that's what I did in the peace that I was, because my girlfriend, she was upset. She was like, I ain't hang with you for 10 years. Now I got to drive with you to Connecticut and we stuck. But we got home and we were safe. So that is the blessing. Anyway, so today, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about Mother's Day and what it is like to be a mother, the expectations, what we love about it, what challenges were, and the fact that I just had this amazing day with my daughter that I otherwise would not have had. I also want to celebrate that, the connections, the conversations we have with our children. So today's topic is a mother's love. I have 2 guests here. That is one of them, Miss Evon Powell, but we'll be talking with Miss Evon as well as Miss Olivia Wintz. So I'd like to bring them on right now. Please welcome Miss Evon and Miss Olivia. How are you guys?
Hey.
Hi.
How are you? How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having us as well.
No
Me
problem.
too. And I'm going to spend your weekends with you because you're adventurous.
Yes, definitely.
No shortage of adventure when it comes to you, LeShawn. Yeah. You're rocking it out. I love it.
Thank you. I am trying, my friend. I am. So again, as you saw, the topic is about Mother's Day. And I was just recently on. First, I want you guys to share with our viewers a little about yourselves. So, Evon, please tell us, who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? Give us a little bit about Evon Powell.
Okay, my name is Yvonne Powell, and originally from New York. I'm a native New Yorker. However, I'm currently living in Georgia. I also teach. I'm an entrepreneur, a writer. I have a book in, aspiring author. I have a book that's at the publishers now, a children's books. I write children's books as well as motivational books. I enjoy working with kids, especially the ones who are at that difficult age, but not difficult, just they can be challenging, the middle schoolers. I enjoy them because they're at a stage where they are growing, they're learning, they're coming into themselves. And I feel that I can help them in a more positive way to kind of guide them along while they're, journeying through their educational life. And that's important. I also have a club, a girls club called the GWAT, GWAT, Girls with Attitude and Training. We started this a few years ago, and a lot of them have graduated from high school. The thing about it that I enjoy is the fact that we recently met up again, and we'll be putting out some things to help young ladies as well in the near future.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you this Teachers Appreciation Week, my love. Thank you so much for all you do, Evon. And I know that you're making a big and huge difference in a lot of these young ladies' lives. You really are. So I appreciate you. All right, Miss Olivia, you are up. Tell us a little about yourself.
So I'm Olivia Wilson, and I am currently employed as a literacy coordinator. So my primary job, I would say, is really to encourage, influence, and make it possible for people to earn a high school diploma or a GED, whichever direction they're going in. And regardless of age, circumstances, my job is really to recruit them and then get them into some sort of an educational training program. Besides that, I spent the last 15 years in workforce development. So I'm constantly reaching out, constantly recruiting people that need some sort of training. They have a passion they want to pursue. That's really been my calling for the last 15 years. Prior to that, I was a business owner for about 15 years. And I owned businesses in two industries. I owned a business in early childhood education. I had a daycare for 12 years. And then I relocated from New York to Georgia, and I opened up a hair salon for about 3.5 years. So pretty rewarding. I'm currently married, and I have 3 lovely children. And if you ask me tomorrow, it might be 1 lovely child. But that's a mother's option, right? We have the option to tell it as it is. As you said, you give the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I was giving a little bit of all of the above.
Oh, that's nice. But I mean, that's what balances everything out, I'm sure, especially with you having 3. You had to have a little bit of everything. That's amazing. Well, thank you again, both of you, for being here, especially during this episode. Motherhood, something I never really thought I would ever embark on, to be honest with you. I don't know. I just didn't think I was very motherly when I was growing up. I didn't have that nurturing type of, trait I felt. But I did pay attention, a lot of attention to my mother, and what she did and what she sacrificed and how she was trying to raise us and what she was trying to instill in us. And so I just really wanted to speak to that real quick before we moved on deeper into the conversation. Did you, Evon, when you were younger, did you kind of look at your mom? Did you understand what being a mother was at that time and what she was trying to offer you as her child?
Yes. My mother was amazing. Unfortunately, I lost her early in my life. I was 10 years old when she died. The thing about it is what she instilled in me during those 10 years. I think she covered everything because she gave me a foundation that I used throughout my teenage years when I was growing up, and even through my adult years for the things that, the jewels, I should say, that she instilled. you know, how to take care of yourself, how to approach other people. I mean, as a child, when you're growing up, you know, I was like 5, 6, 7, you know, 8, 9, and 10 around her. She was the type of person that would say, hey, if you have something like, let's just say as little as a bag of chips,
Mm-hmm.
if someone asks you for some,
Right.
you don't give them some. You take a little out for yourself, a little, and you give them the rest. So
Aw.
it was little things like that that stuck in my mind. You know,
Right.
she always talked to, you know, I admired her because of her whole essence. You
Right.
know, she carried herself as a lady. She was diligent in all of my school performances there, you know, trips that we would take out of town that we were supposed to, you know, and she was just mom, you know, and as a child, you just know mom. You know, she's there to be the rod when needed. You
Right.
know, when she's expressing to you why you shouldn't be doing certain things. And she's giving
Mhm.
you those life lessons at that age that you didn't, you know, that you at the time, I
Right.
didn't know
Right.
that I wouldn't continue to have them, if you
Right.
understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Because she left physically
Yeah.
so early in my life, reflecting back, you know, through my, like I said, my teenage years,
Mhm.
I kind of conducted myself, well, if she was here, I wouldn't be doing this, just based on the lessons that I learned from her. And I feel now, even though she's not here in the present, that
Mhm.
she's always with me,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just a matter of praying, you know, and you'll get your answers at some point at, you know, different signs or whatever. But
Right.
it's the lifelong lessons that stay in the back of my head from so young that
Yeah.
carry me to
No,
today.
I now that I know your story, I could imagine, you know, you being so razor focused on what she did for you. You lost her so young, and
Mhm.
for just that to stop. I mean, I know that you said that obviously you emulated her, and it was things about her that obviously stuck deep within you. But
Mhm.
did you, while you were going through those formative years, still have who she was in the back of your mind, or did you have other role models to sort of
Yes,
guide you? Okay.
definitely. My sister,
Oh,
my older sister who
okay.
lived in the house with us, I always say that when my mom left,
Mm-hmm.
she left her as our gift because we were all young. And
Yeah.
I say that because she took on at a young age herself.
Right.
She took on that role as mom and didn't hesitate.
Right.
You know, so it was like I remember one time saying, "Well, I'm going to feel lost without her." You
Right.
know, but what my older sister, her name is Thyra, what
Mm-hmm.
she said to me, "You will never be lost as long as I'm here." And so with that, you know, like I said, she stepped up to the plate. She was young as well. She was
Yeah.
22 at the time
Yeah.
with a newborn baby
Wow.
herself who was 2 months.
Wow.
And with that, and the four of us, age 14, myself 10, my younger sister 9, my younger brother 7, it was as if, you know, I have 5 children.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be responsible for these
Yeah.
5 children. And I mean, my father was there too. It's not like, you know, my dad wasn't there.
Right.
You know, as a mom, it's a different, you know,
Well, it just sounds like to me like your sister obviously saw what you saw, and she
yeah.
had a few more years with your mom, so she was able to actually embody exactly who she was. I
Mhm.
love that. I think that's beautiful. What about you, Olivia? I mean, were you mindful of, you know, what that role was at that young age?
So I had a very different experience from Yvonne, and we talk about
We're
this
talking.
often.
Mhm.
And so my mom recently passed away, but my mom passed away at the ripe old age of 96.
God bless
So
her.
Yes.
had her in my entire adulthood.
Yeah.
I just lost her a year and a half ago. So I got to see her as a child, and didn't recognize the beauty of her while she was with us. And I think as a teenager and young adult, I still didn't get too acquainted with her. It was when I got married and had my first child that my mother became my best friend
Oh,
and mentor and everything else in between, everything that I'd missed in the formative years. She was now my go to.
mhm.
And I'll give you the example of I have 3 children, and my mother was generous enough with her time that she gave not just myself and my 3 children the same experience, but I have 2 siblings, 2 sisters, and she gave them and their children the exact same experience. So for my first child, my mother literally moved into my home a month before I gave birth.
Wow.
To make sure that I would squat if I had to pick something up, that I didn't have to prepare meals, that I would go walking every day. And when my first son was born, she stayed with us for an additional month to make sure that my nursing went well and that my health went well, my healing health went well, and that she removed some of those responsibilities, my other responsibilities from me, so that I can really embody and embrace motherhood. And I remember 2 of my really good friends who would come over, all the time to visit with my newborn. They said, wow, now we know what to do when we become parents and when we become grandparents, because my mom was that example.
Right.
And that's really what my experience with my mother has been throughout. So I feel I'm not a grandmother yet, but I feel very prepared for it. I look forward to the things that I should do, including knowing when to pull back a little bit and allow the new parents to have quiet time, private time, alone time, because she also displayed that, and we knew what that was like. My husband, well, my ex-husband now would come home from work, and my mother would simply disappear for the evening, and then in the morning there she was again. So really good. It gave me a good idea of what motherhood should look like,
Right.
and I look forward to being able to pass that on to my children, and
Right.
share that not just for all 3 of my children, but for my sisters and their children as well. We all have brilliant stories to share about what it was like to have her in those very uncertain moments when the baby's crying, your first bath, your first nursing, you don't know what to do. There's confusion, there's self-doubt, and here comes this person that does it with such confidence. All of a sudden you're feeling more confident. You're like, oh, this is easy, I could do this.
Yeah.
Or when you have those real moments of postpartum and you want to have that go in the closet and cry moment, you can give your newborn to your parent, a trusted person, and you can experience that postpartum, because truth be told, every woman goes through some sort of postpartum depression, anxiety, and those are things that also need to be discussed. So I really, when I heard that we're talking about motherhood, I was like, yes, this is what we need. We need to have candid conversations to really tell our story, share our story, and let those new moms know that it is perfectly normal. It's going to be okay for us as older women to be able to say, don't worry about this, you got this.
Let me tell you, that's exactly what my mother showed me. I think we became best friends when I became a mother. She literally stopped her whole life when I got pregnant with my daughter. She retired from work. It was like almost her duty was to be the second caretaker or third caretaker in my daughter's life, but to more so just be there to support me in any way that she could. And she literally quit and stopped everything to raise her granddaughter. So I love that fact. I did. I took advantage of it, believe me. And thank God I didn't go through any postpartum syndrome or anything like that. But I think I did go through a time of sort of I was disconnected from that role. I knew what I was supposed to do. She was very shocked that I, was rising to the challenge. Without being nudged and, making sure her bottles were done. Like everything that she thought she would have to teach me, she didn't. But I did take advantage of the babysitting and I want to go out and you're home, so just watch her type of thing. But we became the best of friends, and I learned so much more about my mother and the role that she played in my life as a child while we were adults. As children, all I saw to me, a mother was just to be, she's feeding you, she's taking you to school. We didn't have any real deep conversations as a child. I didn't pry into the family business, and there was a lot going on. But, again, I just saw her as this strong woman is what I saw. And I saw just a mother, and being a mother is about strength. And that's just how I thought and moved, through all my life. So I love that you mentioned that we have to share with new mothers, that it's not easy. Yes, of course. And there are going to be challenges, and we're never, ever going to get it right. We're not.
It's true.
And we're not. And we all have these expectations in our head when we're going to be a mother and what we're going to do and what we're going to impart to our children, that we necessarily didn't get as a child, and how we're going to be better at it. What were your expectations, Evon, and how have they been debunked over the last, I don't know how many years, considering how old are your children now?
Well, I have a son. My son is 38 years old now. And I also have grandchildren. And the thing is that I would, not only would I get close, me and my son were close, but with one of the mothers of his children, of his daughter, I am very close with. I would get close with them to help them along the way, because she was a first, parent at the time. And I kind of, just jumped in and helped and helped as much as I could, took the baby, got to know her, tried to show her different things that you would do as a mom. And at times when it got rough, I would even take her and just have her, and sometimes mothers need help, people need help. And if you have the ability and you can, and someone is allowing you to kind of get in and become a part of their lives, then you can influence and show them that it's okay. You're going to make mistakes. You're not always going to get it right. And so today, one of my grandbabies, she is thriving. Her mother is beautiful. She's her daughter's first teacher. She's learning everything. She's 6 years old. She's reading, she's writing, she's doing her math, and she's being homeschooled. And her mother has stepped up and has taken the role, guided by the reins, and said, I got this. I can do this. I may make mistakes, but I'm okay. I'm loving this journey. And that's what motherhood is. It is a journey. You're not always going to have everything right. Things may not work out the way that you want, but you're on this journey and you're learning as you go. As life is presenting itself with you and your new entity that's in your life, that's a part of you, and sometimes you have mothers who may not have birthed the child themselves, but it's the love that you have for that new being that you're responsible for. You're going to go to the max. You're going to do everything that you can to make sure that they are safe, they have what they need, and that they become productive and smart and intelligent human beings as they begin to take their journey on in life by themselves. You equip them with the foundation so that they can be catapulted to where they're going to be in life. And that's what motherhood is about, going through those steps, and taking them, to school and teaching them, especially if they're, young ladies, what it's like to be a young lady, how you carry yourself, how you take care of yourself wholeheartedly. And even if it's men, sometimes you have a lot of brothers raising their sons.
Right.
Also teaching them what it's like, what you look for in a woman, as well as trying to strengthen them to be young men, guiding them through. So to me, as children, you need both.
Yeah.
They need their fathers, they need their mothers, but they need that strong foundation that a mother can give.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I do. It's hard for us to do it alone sometimes. And even if you have to get an outside mentor or a father figure or a mother figure, I really think that it is important, to have both sides of the gender spectrum, so they can identify, a little deeper. So Olivia, I know, again, you said you have 3 children, and expecting to have 3 kids. And what were your thoughts and your expectations on motherhood when you started this journey as a mom?
Hey, so I have to rewind just for a second because a couple of things. I love that you mentioned, Yvonne, about adoptive parents and foster parents, because they are their moms and dads.
Yeah.
I don't know why the word adoptive and foster even comes into play anymore, because they are parents. And thanks for just mentioning that, because I have a really good friend who adopted two children from the same mother.
Oh,
She was intentional with her adoption. That at the time she was married to she's a white girl and she was married to an African American man. So they adopted two children from the same mother that are both African American and white. So it was that blended family that looked like them. I love it because
yeah.
they're really intentional with what they're doing. And her experience and my experience are exactly the same. We talk about the same things that our children do that are right and that are wrong. There's no difference. You know what I mean? Mothers are mothers. So thank you for bringing that up. And LeShawn, I have to go back for a second because you talked about your Farrah Fawcett wig that you wore.
You're going way back.
Girl, Charlie's Angels was my show. I was Farrah. My sister was Kate. You know, we were doing it. Okay. And I kept thinking, can you just show me who Charlie is, please? For all those years, I wanted to know who is Charlie.
I was an angel, my friend. I was an angel every day, all day.
I really appreciate that your mom allowed you to be who you were, because that's part of your experience. If she took the wig, first of all, if she didn't buy the wig for you, you'd have been craving that wig until right this moment, because you had the opportunity to fulfill it. So that in itself speaks to your mom's character, that she allowed you back then to be who you are. So now look at you, you know, fulfilling those roles that you always wanted to be. Very important. And as mothers, you know, we started talking about my three children. I have three very, very different children. I'm thinking, can y'all just like figure this thing out and not confuse me so much? My eldest is still trying to figure out his life. He's 28. My middle son is 26 and super responsible, a college graduate, an engineer, never came back home after college, just started his life. And then I have a 16-year-old who is, yesterday, I will give a shameless plug to her that she was nominated as the Black Student Union president for her school.
Nice.
And that was one of her goals when she started attending the school. She says, I am definitely going to become the Black Student Union president in her last year. Next year, she's a rising senior and her dream is coming through. So
congratulations.
Thank you. So proud of her. So three completely different children. My two older ones are close in age. They're 2 years apart. And then we had this gap, and we had this little one 9 years later. And I call her my gift all the time. She's the gift that keeps giving, both good and bad. I just want to throw that out there. Literally, my sons wanted a little matchbox car in their pocket. And they would follow me around like I was the queen of the town. And then here comes the little girl who took all the glory and all the shine from me, and it was placed on her. And as a woman and as a mother, I had to learn to share the spotlight. Because something I told I used to tell my daycare parents when I owned my daycare was, sometimes motherhood and being a woman and the challenges that come with it, very difficult, and we don't necessarily know how to always express ourselves. So sometimes our partners, our husbands, would shower our children, especially men would shower their daughters with these elaborate gifts. And truth be told, those are the gifts that they really wanted to shower their wife with. But because we were sometimes a little challenging and a little abrasive, they would just give it to the daughter instead. So when my turn came along 9 years later and I no longer had my business, I had to take a look and I had to take a step back and take my own advice that my daughter's father was showering her with some of the things that he really wanted to shower me with, but I was being challenging at that time. And it's really important to recognize that. So very different children. One is very assertive, very aggressive, completely go-getter. And she might have been 9 years younger, but by the time she was talking, she was also controlling her brothers. She was pulling at them, telling them what to do, truly becoming the girl slash young lady slash soon to be, eventually become a mother and woman. And it's just something she was really following what she saw. She was emulating what I saw, what
Yeah.
she saw, right? Which is me. And I look at her now, and every time I think that she's not paying attention to me, I think, oh, she was really paying attention to me. I would have responded. That's how I would have reacted. So as mothers, as women, we have to be cautious what we do, what we say what we mean what we say, be really good advocates. And this way we'll know that our children will follow our footsteps, hopefully.
Yes.
Don't be fooled, because the eldest, like I said, he's doing his own thing. I'm like, can you figure out your life, son? You're into a third decade. Work this out real quick.
Right.
Work it out for me, please. So, but I love each one equally. And I tell them all the time is that sometimes I'm only giving you 10% of my love.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with you personally. It's just that the other two, they really need me right this moment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
And you also have to keep in mind, you were a different person when you had your first son and your second son and then your daughter. You were growing still, and you were evolving and maturing and progressing in who Olivia was. So that's why I'm sure they are all different, because they were raised at different stages of your life. So how about you speak to that? Do you agree? And if you do, kind of elaborate on it, so others out there, especially, young mothers who are going to have to raise 2 or 3 other kids. And I'm only saying this because I have friends who have 2 or 3 kids, and their older kids at this moment feel resentful towards them because the younger kid got more than they did, and you love them more, and all of this craziness. So if you don't mind, speak to that for us.
I'm glad you're asking. And truth be told, I'm so candid about so much. So my eldest son loves to tell me, why don't you discipline her? And I'm like, what do you mean? I do discipline her. He's like, no, you don't. If I said that, or if I did that, you would have, done X, Y, and Z. And then I have to remind them that I am that disciplinarian that is, when the older two got in trouble, and it was usually they were battling out over one thing or another, I would put my sons in timeout on the bottom step, and I'd make them hold hands. I'm like, y'all want to fight? No worries, fight, but hold hands. And at the end of their 10 or 15-minute timeout, they'd have to hug and have a discussion about it. My daughter, on the other hand, I didn't even need to do that because she already saw the iron fist that their father ruled them with, and she wanted my little velvet glove at all times. So she avoided half of the nonsense from just simply observation. But I will say that when I was in my late 20s and early 30s, when I was raising my sons, so I would rollerblade with them, bicycle ride with them, ice skate with them, play football with them. My daughter, the two of us are doing things like shopping. We're going to a concert. We're getting our nails done. I am not as outdoorsy and as interactive, but it's my lovely knees are saying, not today, lady. So, interaction is a little different, but our conversation is more candid. My daughter is 16 and she's allowed to have a boyfriend, and it's an open discussion. It's let us talk about what you're thinking, what you're feeling.
Right.
Because I have evolved, and it's made me say, hey, you know what? Be honest, be open. And so when you said that you and your daughter rode the train from Nassau County up to, up to the city, and you went all the way up to Connecticut, what a beautiful time to bond and just have casual conversation. No one has to concentrate on the road. You're just dialoguing, and it's just the two of you. You know what? The conversation,
that's really important. Yes.
And I thought, how fun! And you're taking selfies of each other, of together, and you're taking pictures of one another. It was really a bonding moment, and I experienced those moments because I recognize that my middle son, who loves to tell us that he's the middle child, and
I want that
eldest
too.
son,
Watch
and
it
he
too.
said, what does he say? The eldest one had 4 cars. You never even bought me one car. And I was like, honey, you never requested one. Therefore, you didn't get it. You
Wow.
know, he
Wow.
says, you never gave me this. But then in the same token, he'll turn around
Mm-hmm.
and he'll say that he's the brightest, he's the best, he's the most independent. And if you look at all of the presidents, the majority of them are middle children. I'm like, well, there you have it. You are not as needy as the other two. And sandwiched in between the two bookends that needed all of my attention.
Yes, yes,
all
yes,
the
yes, yes, yes.
But my relationship with my middle son now that he is an adult is just phenomenal. Like I brag about him because I'm like, I can't wait to see what his next step is.
Oh, that's awesome. That is
It's
awesome.
exciting to see.
That
You know,
is
and I'm not as judgmental.
right.
Right.
When I was younger and raising them.
Mhm.
Now I wasn't as judgmental. Now I'm like, do what you want to do and let me see where it takes you. I'm here to guide you versus tell you what to do.
Yes, yes.
So
Again, that
that's
comes
my
with us growing as well, you know? So, Yvonne, I mean, I know you only have one, like I only have one,
Mhm.
and we hold on tight.
Yes,
And
we do.
with dear life, I just had a really deep conversation with my daughter, and when we talk later, you know, a different episode, I will share it all, but it is heart-wrenching. But it's because she is our only one.
Right,
So
right,
how
right.
was it, and how did you feel being a mother of one child? And speak to those parents out there, and single parents as well as
Yeah.
two-parent households that just have one child.
Okay, I mean, my son he's amazing to me as a child, just growing up for things that he's always been headstrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so watching him develop and grow into who he is today with all the bumps and challenges that he has met, I'm very proud to say I'm happy that he is my son. Because and I am, because when you're raising young men, they're going through so many different things, in life. The challenges that men have, especially African American men, just, about growing, about being a man, and all the things that's encapsulated in what's supposed to be a man.
Right.
You are, you have to come to the table with a lot to teach them, and so watching him go from stage to stage and was challenging at times,
Mhm.
but at the end, in the long haul, when you see how they are now and where they are, when they're looking back over their mistakes and different things like that, and they're saying, hey, I could have done this different or whatever, it's like it's a part of their journey. And sometimes, like Olivia said, you just got to let go. You let go and let them kind of guide themselves, but you're there behind, because you realize the connection for how we were raised when we were younger is a little different from how children are growing up today.
True.
So life is moving at a faster pace. And to be honest with you, I find myself learning a lot from him.
Yeah.
And I say that because he jumps, he's a risk taker. He jumps into different things business wise. He has his own business, and he's not afraid.
Right.
As me, and some of us from our generation, we always have this, I got to save $1 for a rainy day, or, I have to hold on to this. And so you stay within this familiar safe zone. Whereas, the children today that are growing up, their safe zone is like, if we're going to make it happen, we got to go for it.
Yeah.
And so they leap.
Yes.
And they don't care where they land. And even if they fail, they still, okay, that didn't work, so let me work out something else or do it a different way. So they keep going. And so I find myself learning from him,
Right.
and he's the one that encouraged me, when are you going to go for the things that you want to do in life?
Yeah.
I'm grown, so do you,
Yeah. I
You
love
have
it.
to trust the universe. You know, I have my show. He's very supportive about the things that I do. Yeah, and I support him in his ventures. You know, there was a time that he started a business that he wanted to do bollards. How can you help me with that?
Right.
Okay, let's jump in. I jumped in, got Olivia on board with that also. And, you know, we worked the business to the extent that it had to just stop for a moment. But
Right.
it's like, okay, so that couldn't work out right now. Let's go to something else. You know,
Right.
his management company, he works with different artists. And I watch him and in admiration.
Yeah.
And just like with my show, like we expressed with your daughter had told you, Mom, do your show. You know,
Yes.
my
Yeah.
son did the same thing. You
Yeah.
know, do your show.
They are. They are very encouraging, and I agree
Yeah,
with you. I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
that
yeah.
they live their lives right now with reckless abandon. But I think that it's only because they know there are no limitations, and why should
Exactly.
there be? I love the fact that they question everything. They want to
Yes.
know why. I came from a generation where we were told to keep our mouth shut and just listen to what I said. And then you have no explanation, nothing to base it on. You're going through life confused about why you said no. And here you don't live out your dream or your purpose. These
Exactly.
day are questioning everything, and I love it. My daughter, I feel, is a better part of who I am. She
Yes, yes,
is
yes, yes.
everything and all things that I could have hoped for a child. I love that she's fearless. I love that even if
Exactly.
she's confused or if she's not feeling herself or she's not right, she knows how to express herself, and she's not
Exactly.
just harbor and hold on to those feelings like we're used to doing and back in the day. So this new generation of kids, I really feel that they have a huge future if they stay the course and continue to just believe in their voice. You know, they have it. And I don't feel back then we had too much of a voice, and our parents did
Communication.
try to stifle a lot, I will tell you.
Communication.
But all right, so look, we only have really just a few minutes, and
Oh
I
my gosh,
still
yeah.
want you to speak from your heart. So I want a minute from you, Miss Olivia, a minute from you about what motherhood means, what that just the word, the phrase, what advice you have for us out there as mothers, and leave us something that we can aspire to do.
So that's a lot that you've asked in 1 minute. I can tell you,
Minute to do it.
got it. Be your authentic self. Be really your authentic self, and recognize every stage. Don't judge yourself. Give yourself a little grace. There's going to be errors, and it's okay. My mother was from the silent generation, and I am not quite the baby boomers, but almost there, teetering on that line right there. So I would advise young mothers to find a mentor. Don't be afraid to ask, and most importantly, lean on your mom. If you don't have a mother in your life right this moment, then look for someone who can really give you good advice, and find a respectable person that you respect and that you can trust, so that you can really go through this and you don't have to do it alone. Life is difficult. I read something when I was on holiday. It said, smile while you still have teeth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to encourage all moms to give yourself a little grace, be authentic, and seek help when you need it, because that's the only place we can continue to grow and move forward. That's my minute.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And Evon, your minute, same question.
My minute is, well, what I'm going to say in this minute, it's important to communicate.
Yes.
Communication is a key. Learning to communicate and teaching your children to communicate. Expressing yourselves, letting people know. As young mothers, you're starting out, it's a new journey. That journey is a beautiful journey. It's going to have its ups and downs. It's going to have its ins and outs, and everything that you think can go wrong possibly will, but it's okay, because you can always turn it around.
Yes.
The thing is when you have your children, learn them, communicate with them, talk to them, and then allow them to express themselves to you so that you know how they're thinking.
Yeah.
Don't allow them to be a shut up kid. It's my way or the highway. No, allow them to seek understanding for the things that you're giving them, so they can take that understanding and, transcend it and keep going.
Yes.
They will always remember the jewels or the gifts that you lay upon them at any point when you may not be around.
Yes.
That's what's important. Be a mother, love, give, make the sacrifices that you need to make, but always be there so that they know at the end of the day, they have mom.
Yes.
You know, that's what's important. Mom got my back, and I have hers.
That's great. Thank you so much. Real quick, 2 words, Olivia. What do you like best about being a mom?
My freedom to just be me.
Yes.
That's the first thing that 2 words. It's one will be freedom, and 2 the love that they give me back. So rewarding.
I love it. I love it. Evon, real quick, go ahead.
Being intentional and the love and respect, I have to say. As a mom, I mean, the journey that I've had with my son, and then now I'm having with my grandchildren, it's amazing. I wouldn't trade it in for $1 million.
I love it. I like to thank you guys so much for being here. I don't want you to go anywhere yet, but I love the conversation, but we got to get real quick to the Dare to Be You.
Okay.
And the Dare to Be You is: motherhood is a choice you make every day to put someone else's happiness and well-being ahead of your own, to teach the hard lessons, to do the right thing, even when you're not sure what the right thing is, and to forgive yourself over and over again for doing everything wrong. And that's exactly what these young ladies, as well as I, said today. Just give yourself some grace. We are all doing it wrong. Trust me, we are, but we're doing the best that we can, and we're doing it with love. We're doing it with compassion, and we're doing it with every part of our being. We love our children, every last one of us, and we just want to instill in them everything that they deserve in order for them to be happy and whole people. So we advise you to do the same. I'd like to thank you, Olivia and Evon, for being here. I so appreciate you. I want you guys out there, as well as you beautiful women, to have a beautiful Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Please go out there and have a meaningful moment with your mother. Do you know what that means? That means you're going to ask them questions that you were afraid to ask them before. You're going to have conversations with them that may be a little uncomfortable, but will allow you to learn more about your mother. You want to spend as much serious, deep, connected time with your mom before she's gone now, so that you know more about where you come from, who you are, and who and where you're going. So please spend just memorable moments with your mother this Mother's Day. Ask those questions. Treat her like she is your best friend. And I'm telling you, it will be the most amazing experience you will ever have. I want to thank everyone for watching another episode of Your Unity. We will see you next week here at 6 p.m. maybe, because I'm going out of town, but we'll see. Anyway, I want you to have a wonderful evening. Remember that I love you, and peace and love is in the palm of our hands. So let's go out there and spread some love, be some love, and give some love. I'll see you next week, and you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you. I love you. Have a good night.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Strong Island Entertainment.